Happy Limerick Pride, everyone. I'm Jimmy. I'm about to do a Pride-inspired makeup tutorial for everybody. I've been kindly asked by the Limerick Pride Committee this year to get involved with makeup. So that is exactly what I did. I know you're all going to love this look. I know we can't celebrate in person together this year, but we can definitely do so virtually. We can celebrate our queerness right from home. So from my home, our home, to yours, happy Limerick Pride and have a great one. So first we're going to use our Stacey Marie palette, and I am using the purple shade from there. And we are just using a small Zoeva brush, which is a 227. It's a really nice brush for the crease, and I'm just going to start getting some shape in. And Jade's eye working it into her socket line. So we're going to be doing a nice, as you can see, a bright, colourful Pride makeup look for the day that's in it. And now I'm going to start going in with my blue. So I'm using a nice light blue from the Stacey Marie palette as well. And I'm using a 228 Zoeva brush for that. So the brush is slightly bigger. But again, just kind of keeping it with that shape with Jade's eye and just following her own socket line. So just blending out the edges of each colour as we go. So I just keep going back and forth just to kind of add a little bit more intensity until I'm happy with it. I'll just keep going back and forward. So as you can see, like I have the two brushes in my hand and I keep switching from the blue to the purple, and I'll keep going back and adding. So now I'm going to add more purple, and I'm going to start dragging that out in more of a cat eye shape with the purple shadow. So you can see that slightly starting to come out there. So I'm using the brush, so I keep the same brush for both colours. So I have the purple brush and a blue brush, and I don't mix them up. So as you can see, I'm starting to drag that out. So I just continue to do that until I'm happy enough with the depth and with the shape of it. So now I'm going in with a dark navy blue, and the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to deepen up my socket line, but I'm keeping that dark navy under the blue and purple that I just did. So back in with my purple just to make sure I'm not losing that colour. Blend out the edges. Back in with my blue just to make sure I'm not losing that either. So you'll see I keep going from purple to blue, just making sure that I'm not losing the colour as we go along. So now just over to the other eye, and we're going to start with yellow this time. And I'm starting from the inner corner as opposed to the outer corner. As soon as we've that yellow done, we're going in with a nice bright orange to meet that yellow. And I'm using a smaller 227 brush for this as well. So I'm keeping the brush small because the orange is a deeper colour and I want to control where that's going. So I will keep building that up until I'm happy with the depth of it, the same as the previous side. So as you can see, I'll start to drag the yellow in to meet the orange, just so they meet nice and softly there as well. Again, keep your brushes on this side for each colour. So you need, anytime you're using colour, you need to have a brush per colour, just so everything doesn't get kind of muddled up, and it tends to look quite muddy if you don't keep a brush for each colour. So I just keep going back and forth, keep checking the other side, making sure that we're kind of going similar enough with shape, and dragging that orange out as well. So you'll see that in the outer corner there. There you go. So I'll keep going back and forth between yellow and orange, just to make sure that I'm happy enough with the depth. So now I'm going to go in with a red tone shadow to kind of add more depth. So like I did on the other side with the dark navy, I now need a deeper shades to go in and add some intensity to the crease, and you can kind of see that that is definitely happening there. So back in my orange again, just to make sure that I'm not losing any colour. So what happens is when you use colour over one colour, the colour that you used previously tends to kind of fade out a little bit. So I'd keep going back and forth. As you can see, I have 3 or 4 brushes with each different colour in my hand. And that's just so I can kind of go back and forth and back and forth. So next I'm going to start cutting the crease, and I'm using the P. Louise base for this in shade Blank Canvas. So I'm going to cut slightly higher than Jade's actual socket line, so it gives the illusion then of a bigger lid or bigger lid space. Now she has big enough eyes as it is, but it is Pride and we do want to go all out. So as you can see there, just kind of cutting with the shape of Jade's own kind of natural crease. And keeping under the cut of my deeper shadow. Don't take the cut too high, because what happens is you end up cutting out all that lovely work that we just did. So yeah, same then on the other side, keeping it under the deeper shadow that we did. Not bringing it too high, because again, we don't want to cut out everything or all that hard work that you just did there. So just go with the natural shape of your own socket, but just bring it that bit higher. So there you go. So just making sure that cut is nice and clean by just pressing the brush in and not dragging it. So just press the tip of the brush into the crease and you'll get that. So now we're going to start to blend the shadows out and kind of go for more of an ombre effect. So we'll go with the yellow first, and we'll put that right in the center of the eye. The center of the eye, that's Limerick for you. So right in the center of the eye there, and we'll go with the yellow, and then the other side we're going to go with the light blue that we used. So your lighter colour is going to go right in the center first of all, and just press that in. Don't do any circular motions or drag the brush back and forward, just literally press that shadow on. And then I'll go with my mid-tone, which is orange on this side. And I'll bring that in to meet the yellow shadow that we just put, so you can see that there. So that you'll get that nice kind of ombre effect when you kind of go from light to dark. That's the way I do my shadows. So the same here, I'll go with the purple. Purple is our mid-tone shadow here. Again, you're just very, very lightly pressing that shadow in. You don't want any circular motions, or you don't want to drag the shadow, because you just kind of mess up the shape. So now I'm going to go in with my darker shadow, which is my red at this side, and that's just on the outer corner. And then my navy at this side, which is the shade that we use to deepen up the socket. And again, just right on the outer corner, you just want to add that nice little bit of depth here. So just back in my purple there, just to make sure I'm not losing any colour there. So now I'm going to go with some glitter. So on this side, I'm using a glitter called Ziggy Stardust, which is a yellowy, greeny, pinky. There's a lot of different colours. You can kind of see that. It's like a zesty kind of a colour, which is very complementary to the purples and blues. So I'm putting a little bit of lash glue on, just to kind of hold that glitter. I did it on the other side as well, off camera. And here I'm using a pastel pink with a little bit of green. So they're obviously both different glitters, but they kind of look similar enough there, but they're not really. So there you go. You can kind of see there's a different undertone there. Jade's neck is ready to fall. So I'm going to go with some liner now. So I'm going with Inglot 77 Gel in Black. And I'm just using an angle brush to bring that liner in, and I'm going to just kind of soften it into the darker shadow. So I start in the center and I'm working my way out to the outer corner, and then I'll do the inner corner. So I'll do it in 3 steps. So there, start in the center, bring it in from the outer corner, fill it in. See that there? You see it better on this side because the shadows are lighter. There you go, and I'll work my way into the inner corner of the eye then, and keeping it much, much thinner as you get into the inner corner, so you get that nice shape with your liner. Voila! Okay, so lashes next. These are from my own range of lashes. You can see my name on the package there. These are called Elisa Marie Lash. Again, for the day that's in it, they're really nice and big and fluffy, and they've got a really nice kind of wing shape to them as well, as you'll see now when I pop these on. There you go. So I'm just using the duo glue in white as well. So it's the same thing I used to stick the glitter, and there you are. She's ready for takeoff. Beautiful. So I'm going in with a pencil brush now, and I'm going to go with my darker shadows on my lower lash line. There you go. So the navy at that side that I just did, and then this side is the red. So your deeper shadow will go along your lash line, and then I'll go in with the mid-tone shadow, so blue on this side just to blend it out. And then my mid-tone shadow at the other side, which will be orange, I think. Yeah, orange. There we go. So I'm using a cream face palette, and I'm using the pink, and I'm actually doing a coloured waterline liner with that. It's kind of difficult enough to see, but you'll see it in the pictures in a while. You'll see the pink on my hand. So it's a really, really nice hot pink, and that is the colour of the liner in her waterline. And then I would finish it off with a little bit of mascara on her lower lash line, and then a little bit at the top just to blend her own lashes with the false eyelash. There you go. A little bit of bronzer to make her look alive. We kept the masks on.